Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema announces the shift of the education sector from the social sector to the economic sector. Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation calls for strengthening risk management systems across the water sector. And Robert Mugabe's son charged with attempted murder in South Africa. This bulletin is streaming live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and also live on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. President Hakainde Hichilema hopes that the education sector will be moved from the social sector to the economic sector, describing it as a key pillar for national development. Speaking during the official implementation of the school feeding program at Kabulonga Boys Secondary School, President Hichilema emphasized that education is fundamental to national development and economic transformation. The head of state stated that the United Party for National Development UPND government has a clear vision to invest significantly in the education sector, recognizing it as a major driver of economic growth. He further stressed the need to sustain the school feeding program, noting that it plays a critical role in improving learner attendance, retention, and overall academic performance.
When they die, their children continue succeeding. Are we not aware of that? So the best inheritance, education. This is the one. And that's why we're shifting it from a so-called social sector to an economic sector. This ministry is an economic sector. So our vision is clear here. That, and we are bold and deliberate that human capital reforms we put in place since 2021 have to work for the reasons we've articulated. Our intent is very clear, to grow our economy. And I've changed the narratives. I say to my colleagues in cabinet and those in state, follow what the president is saying.
And at the same event, Education Minister Douglas Siagalima emphasized that the greatest asset of any country is its people. Mr. Siagalima disclosed that Kabulonga Boys Secondary School currently accommodates more than 2,000 pupils.
Being in school, you realize we wasted time for 10 years. Getting closer now, closer to 3 million children in school within 4 years is not a joke. And sometimes you are reminded who these kids could have been in the next 20 years. We were causing criminals, vagabonds, because we let a child out of school. What it means, Mr. President, is that indeed, the parents were not affording to pay for their kids. But also, this reminds you that the kids were thirsty for knowledge. This is why now they're trickling in those numbers. Let me say this. Are there any teachers here? Please stand in your stead, teachers.
Meanwhile, delivering a vote of thanks, a pupil from Kabulonga Boys Secondary School expressed gratitude to President Hakainde Hichilema for the introduction of the free education policy, saying it has enabled many learners to access education.
Your presence clearly shows that you have a loving and caring father. Matthew Jacobson once said, every man, behind every young child who believes in himself or herself is a parent who believed first. Therefore, being listed by the father of the nation has ignited self-belief, especially in our quest to become future leaders. Mr. President, as leaders of Kabulonga Secondary School for Boys and of this great nation, we would like to thank you for the free education policy. Long gone are days when learners would abscond from classes because of not paying school fees. Thank you for giving many of us a lifeline through this policy. Mr. President, we acknowledge that although we live without paying anything, we have
Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Telly has commended Zambia Airports Corporation Limited and Zambia PLC for donating schools to $4 schools. Speaking when the two institutions made a donation of 400 pairs of school shoes to selected schools in Ndola this morning, Mr. Telly said the initiative reflects government's belief that sustainable infrastructure development must go hand in hand with social support. He said for many learners, the journey to school can be long and demanding, acknowledging that some learners walk long distances. Mr. Tayali hopes that this modest gesture will make a meaningful difference in the learner's educational experience.
Dag Hamshort, in Kwazi, and Chiwalele primary schools, this initiative offers an important lesson in development delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, government alone cannot meet every need, not at all. Public budgets, no matter how well structured, will never be sufficient to address all social and developmental demands at once. It is therefore essential that we embrace corporate synergies and strengthen collaboration between government institutions and the private sector.
And Zambia Airports Corporation Managing Director Uves Desai said the initiative reflects the company's beliefs that sustainable infrastructure development must go hand in hand with social support.
Yes, our core mandate is aviation infrastructure, development, and management. However, we recognize that our president carries a broader responsibility to the communities surrounding our operations. It's these communities that will one day take the reins in leadership.
Meanwhile, Zambia Federal Commissioner Gary Kafids said so far 33 schools have benefited from the initiative. The beneficiary schools include Chibole, Daghamscod, Dola Hill, and Nkwasi Primary.
And to date, we have been to 7 provinces across Zambia and donated a total of 2,000 pairs of shoes. So the 400 today is in addition to that 2,000 that we donated already. We are working hard to start working on the 2026 edition for the Walker Mile.
2, essential for safeguarding public resources and ensuring uninterrupted service delivery. Speaking at the opening of a 5-day risk management workshop for the senior management officers under the ministry today, the PS underscored the importance of systematically identifying potential risks, assessing their likelihood and impact, and implementing appropriate mitigation and monitoring measures, and integrating risk management into planning, budgeting, and implementation processes. He added that effective risk management systems would enhance accountability, optimize resources, and improve overall sector performance. Engineer Kamanga explained that the workshop has been convened to build the capacity of designated risk champions within the ministry who are expected to spearhead the risk management agenda and foster a culture of risk awareness throughout the sector. He further encouraged participants to actively engage in discussions, share experiences, and apply the knowledge gained within their respective departments. Engineer Kamanga has disclosed that the platform is also intended to deepen participants' understanding of risk management principles and frameworks, promote the sharing of best practices, and strengthen practical skills needed to integrate risk considerations into decision-making processes. And in other news trending this evening, government has handed over 100 cattle to a community in Luapula province as part of efforts to promote livelihoods that support forest conservation and rural economic growth. The government says it is committed to supporting youth-led initiatives in water, sanitation, and hygiene as a cornerstone of sustainable development. Stand by for business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Zambia Institute of Environmental Health, ZIEH, led by Secretary General Joseph Mwinde, has paid a courtesy call on the Permanent Secretary for Administration at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Dr. Gabriel Paulian. The engagement provided an opportunity for ZIEH to formally introduce its newly elected executive committee and to outline the Institute's mandate, including its ongoing efforts to promote and uphold high standards of environmental health practice in Zambia. Mr. Mwinde emphasized the importance of strengthened collaboration between ZIEH and the ministry in influencing national policy and shaping public awareness on environmental health matters. He noted that professional environmental health practice is critical to the delivery of high quality services to the public and to building public trust and confidence in environmental health and professionals. And Dr. Paulen welcomed the delegation and reaffirmed the government's commitment to working with professional bodies whose mandates align with national development priorities. He underscored the ministry's focus on continuous improvement and constructive stakeholder engagement as key drivers for enhancing public health outcomes in Zambia. Ends the business news, and in news from across our borders, the youngest son of Zimbabwe's late former President Robert Mugabe has been formally charged with attempted murder at a brief appearing in a South African court. Bellarmine Mugabe, 28, was arrested last week after a 23-year-old man was shot and injured at a property in an upmarket suburb of Johannesburg last Thursday. He was then taken into custody alongside his bodyguard. Neither man has commented on the charges. Appearing in court dressed in black, Mugabe looked calm during the proceedings. Mugabe is the youngest son of Robert and his second wife, Grace Mugabe. Robert Mugabe died in 2019 and led Zimbabwe for 37 years before being forced out of power at the age of 93 in 2017. And in sports news, the Zambia senior women's national team trained at the Northern Academy football and rugby pitch in Polokwane this morning as preparations stepped up for their decisive Group B fixture. Kuro High School had been the Copper Queens training base, but today the squad shifted to Northern Academy for a change of surface. Following a goalless stalemate with the neighbor Zimbabwe at Seshego Stadium, Zambia will be keen to find their cutting edge when they face Eswatini. Assistant coach Charles Halubono, alongside Dena Lapiri and Wisdom Kaira, oversaw a sharp, high-tempo session focused on movement, combinations, and finishing. Zambia meet Eswatini tomorrow, February 24th at 12 hours in their final Group B match of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Women's Championship 2025. And now, the weather.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road. 150 meters from Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Econ.
Ramachinga, Eastern, Lusaka, and Southern provinces, mainly cloudy, slightly windy and warm to mild with isolated rain and occasional thunder. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news part. Before we go, a recap of the stories that made